Have you ever paused long enough to truly hear the sound of your own mind? Not the external noise cars passing, phones buzzing, people talking, but the inner noise, that subtle, constant stream of thoughts planning, replaying, worrying, judging. It's like living with a radio that never turns off. Most of us exist between two worlds every day. The outer world, what we can see, touch, hear, and the inner world are thoughts, emotions, memories, and quiet fears. But here's the paradox. We think we live through the outside, yet what truly shapes our reality is the inside. Two people can stand in the same room, hear the same music, see the same sunset, and walk away feeling completely different. Why? Because what we see is filtered by what we carry within. And that brings us to a question both profound and unsettling. If everything we experience is filtered by our mind, then what happens when that mental noise disappears? When the judgments, the grasping, the endless mental commentary fall silent? When the universe, as you perceive it, fades into stillness? What remains? Not the labels, not the struggle, just you. Not the version of you shaped by fear, roles, or the past, but something quieter, truer, deeper, a part of you untouched by chaos, waiting not to be fixed, but finally seen. In this video, we begin a journey inward, not to escape the world, but to understand it through stillness. If you've ever felt the noise was too loud, maybe it's time to listen to the silence. Stay with me. What we uncover next might change how you see everything. Part 1. Two worlds, one life. Where does experience come from? We often assume we live in one world. The world we can touch, measure, explain. The one made of streets and sidewalks, bills and calendars, people talking, phones ringing. This world feels real, so vivid, so immediate. And yet, there's another world, one just as real, one no one else can see but you. It's the world inside your mind. Your thoughts, your memories, the quiet whispers of fear or longing, the joy that comes out of nowhere when a song plays, the ache that returns even when everything outside looks fine. We live in both these worlds, outer and inner, but not equally. The outer world is always in motion. Nothing stays the same. People change, jobs come and go. Even the weather won't hold still. And yet we keep trying to hold on. We try to make the good moments last. We try to stop the painful ones from happening. But reality doesn't ask our permission. It moves with or without us. And that's when suffering appears. Not because the world is cruel, but because we resist what is. Now look at the inner world. It's not bound by physical laws, but it shapes every experience you have. Two people could be standing in the same room, hearing the same music, smelling the same air, but one might feel peace, while the other feels sadness. The difference isn't in the room, it's in the mind. Your thoughts are like colored lenses. If your mind is heavy with fear, even a sunny day feels dim. But if your heart is calm, even the rain feels sacred. We don't see life as it is. We see it as we are. This is something the Buddha saw clearly. Suffering doesn't come from what happens out there. It comes from how we meet it. Our judgments, our expectations, our grasping. We want things to go our way. We want people to understand us, to never leave us, to always treat us kindly. But even love changes. Even joy fades. And when we cling to any of it, pain grows. Buddhism doesn't say that life is suffering. It says attachment is. That tight inner grip we have on how things should be. That's what hurts. So what do? We turn inward, not with blame, not with harshness, but with curiosity. We begin to notice, what stories am I telling myself? What fears am I holding so tightly? What would happen if, just for a moment, I let go of needing things to be different? This is where peace begins, not by changing the world, but by meeting it with a quiet, open heart. This isn't a quick fix. It's a gentle return, a new relationship with the world, one breath, one moment, one soft awareness at a time. And the more you do this, the more the storm outside begins to lose its power over you. You begin to see clearly, not through the fog of fear, but through the calm of presence. And maybe, just maybe, that's where healing starts. If this speaks to something in you, if you've ever wondered why two people can live such different lives in the same world, then stay with this journey. Because what comes next will take us deeper into that still place within, the place where peace doesn't depend on what's happening around you, but on how fully you show up to what's already here. Part 2. When the mind lets go, the world grows quiet. Have you ever had a moment, just one, when your thoughts stopped racing? Maybe you were watching the ocean, or lying under a tree, or holding someone's hand in complete silence. And suddenly, there was no need to label anything. No past, no future, just presence. For a brief second, the mind let go, and the world felt different. But here's the beautiful truth. The world didn't actually change. Your mind did. We often talk about finding peace as if it's something we have to chase, somewhere far away. But peace isn't in the next job, or the next relationship, or the next version of yourself. It's in the quiet that comes when your mind stops chasing altogether. When the mind lets go, something extraordinary happens. You're no longer running ahead of the moment. You're no longer fighting, fixing, or figuring it all out. You just see, the way a child sees a butterfly without needing to name it, own it, or explain it. Imagine walking down a familiar street, but this time, you're not in your head planning dinner or replaying yesterday's conversation. You're simply here. You see the sunlight on the leaves. You feel the breeze on your skin. You hear a dog barking in the distance, and that's all. There's no story. There's just this moment. This is what the Buddha pointed to when he spoke of clarity. Not a magical state reserved for monks or saints, but something as simple and profound as not grasping. We spend so much energy reaching for meaning, for control, for permanence. We hold on to moments, people, emotions, like we're afraid they'll vanish. And of course, they do. But the tighter we grip, the more suffering we create. So what happens when the grip loosens? You look at a flower, not needing it to last forever, not trying to preserve its beauty or take a photo. You just see it as it is. And that's enough. In that seeing, there is love. There is peace. This is mindfulness, not just paying attention, but paying attention without trying to possess what you see. And in this gentle way of seeing, freedom starts to appear. Not the kind of freedom that comes from escaping life, but the kind that allows you to live it more fully. You're still part of the world, still feeling, still caring. But now, you're not weighed down by the constant noise of your own mind. You're not pushing reality away or pulling it closer. You're just walking through it, like a breeze, touching everything, clinging to nothing. And here's the paradox. When you let go, you don't lose your connection to life. You deepen it. You begin to hear what the world sounds like, without your inner commentary playing over it. You hear the silence underneath the sounds, the stillness beneath the movement. And in that stillness, you meet yourself again. Not the self made of stories and roles, but the self that simply is. That's what remains when the mind grows quiet. If this message found you at the right time, maybe it's because something in you is already beginning to let go. Not to give up, but to give yourself permission to stop grasping and start seeing. Stay with me. In the next part, we explore what's left when you no longer need to define who you are. When all the chasing ends and something real finally appears. Part 3. What remains when you stop looking for yourself? We spend so much of our lives searching for meaning, for answers, for the version of ourselves that finally feels complete. We chase success, love, healing, spiritual growth. We collect titles, beliefs, identities, each one, like a layer of clothing we hope will finally make us feel whole. But somewhere along the way, something feels off. The more we chase, the more distant peace seems to become. Like trying to hold water in our hands. No matter how tightly we grip, it slips through. And deep down, we start to wonder, what if the version of myself I've been trying to become doesn't actually exist? What if I'm not broken or behind or incomplete, but simply looking in the wrong direction? Buddhism doesn't shame the search. It just gently invites a different question. What happens if you stop? Stop trying to become. Stop trying to fix. Stop needing to be someone other than who you already are. It's scary at first. Letting go of the identities you've built over years. Your role at work, your story of pain, your image of being the strong one, or even the one who's still healing. We tie ourselves to those stories like anchors. And without them, we fear we'll float away into nothingness. But what if letting go isn't emptiness? What if it's spaciousness? A soft, quiet kind of freedom. Imagine a room, empty. No clutter, no noise, no pressure to prove anything. Just space. Open, alive, full of light. That space is you. Not the self built from labels or achievements, but the self that simply is. In Buddhist tradition, this is called suchness, the pure, untouched nature of being, like the sound of a bell before you name it sound, or the sky before you draw borders on it. This is who you were before the world told you who to be. And here's the beautiful part. You haven't lost that part of yourself. You've just been too busy looking outside to notice it's been here all along. Letting go of who you think you are doesn't mean you disappear. It means you expand. Like realizing you are not the cloud. You are the sky that holds it. You still have thoughts, feelings, opinions, but they don't trap you anymore. They pass through like birds flying across a wide open field. This inner spaciousness allows something miraculous to happen. Compassion. Not because you try to be a better person, but because you no longer carry the tight, anxious need to protect your image. You breathe deeper. You listen more softly. You forgive more easily. Because now, you're not trying so hard to be someone. You're simply being, and in that simplicity, there is depth, there is beauty, there is truth. This is what remains when you stop looking for yourself. Not a blank slate, but a presence so real, so free, it no longer needs a name to exist. If these words stir something inside you, maybe a quiet ache, or a deep exhale you didn't know you were holding, let that be enough. You don't have to find yourself. You're already here. Just keep watching, keep listening, and in the silence that follows, you might finally meet the one who's been here all along. In the next part, we explore how this clarity changes the way we live in the world, not escaping it, but walking through it with ease, freedom, and lightness. Part 4. Seeing through the dream, living with freedom. What if life is a dream? Not a fantasy, not something fake, but a constantly shifting, unpredictable dance. Moments rise and fall. People enter, then leave. Even your own thoughts and emotions come and go like passing clouds. And yet, we keep trying to make the dream solid. We hold on to praise as if it should last forever. We resist sadness as if it has no right to be here. We chase love, avoid pain, and fight for control. But control is the part of the dream we never get to keep. Buddhism teaches that freedom doesn't come from escaping the dream. It comes from waking up within it. That means seeing clearly without needing to grasp, label, or manipulate. Seeing joy without clinging. Seeing sorrow without fear. Letting life move and choosing to move with it, not against it. There's a moment in meditation or even in daily life when something shifts. You're still in the same body, walking the same path, living the same story, but suddenly your grip loosens. You stop demanding the world to behave a certain way. You stop needing people to understand you. You stop chasing the perfect plan. And in that soft letting go, you discover something beautiful. Peace that doesn't depend on how things turn out. The outer world keeps changing, but your inner world grows still. You begin to walk through life like a gentle breeze. You touch everything, conversations, experiences, even pain, but you don't get stuck in them. You flow, not because you don't care, but because now you care freely. You no longer love in order to be loved. You no longer give to be seen. You no longer speak to prove your worth. You do it because it's real, because it feels honest, because it flows from a place that no longer needs to defend itself. And that is freedom. Not the freedom to escape responsibilities or detach from life, but the freedom to live with open hands, not clenched fists, to feel fully, to love bravely, to be present without needing life to always be pleasant. And here's the most profound shift of all. You stop adding suffering to what's already hard. Yes, sadness will still visit, loss will still hurt, but without the mental resistance, the stories, the blame, the tight grip, pain becomes lighter. You welcome it, like a guest who has something to teach you, but who no longer stays forever. Even in moments of grief or uncertainty, you find an inner stillness untouched by the storm. This isn't magic. It's practice. Gentle, patient, consistent. Buddhism doesn't offer grand rituals or complex formulas. It offers something simpler, but far more powerful. Breathe, observe, return. Sit with your thoughts and watch them pass. Speak truthfully. Walk kindly. Be present again and again and again. Each time you do, you plant a seed of clarity in your heart, and eventually, that seed blooms. If you've ever longed for a life with less tension, less noise, not a perfect life, but a freer one, then this is the path. Not a path of escape, but a way of being awake. In the next and final part of this journey, we'll return to where we began, to ask, when the universe disappears and the stories dissolve, what is truly left? And how do we live from that sacred stillness every day? Stay with me. You've already started to remember the way home. Part 5. Coming home to the stillness within. Somewhere between chasing success and avoiding pain, between trying to fix the past and fearing the future, we forget. We forget that we are not here to become something more. We are here to remember something ancient, something soft, something real. Through every part of this journey, from noticing the noise inside, to loosening our grip, to standing still without labels, we've been walking the same path. Back home. Home is not a place. It's not the life you're trying to build, or the person you hope to be someday. It's not in the next big answer, the perfect moment, or the final version of your healed self. Home is in the stillness that never left you. That quiet space behind every thought. That gentle presence beneath every breath. When the world feels loud, when your roles dissolve, when your mind finally stops spinning, what remains? You? Not the you of achievements or opinions or fears, but the one who simply sees, who watches the waves but isn't pulled under, who listens, breathes, and just is. There's no need to strive to get there because you never left. The stillness has always been here, waiting for you to remember. And when you do, life begins to soften. You walk slower. You speak more gently. You stop trying to force meaning from every moment and start letting the moment reveal itself to you. Even the difficult days become sacred. Not because they're painless, but because you no longer resist them. You hold joy in one hand and sorrow in the other. And somehow, they both belong. That's the paradox of awakening. You're more alive, more feeling, more open, but less afraid. And now, you begin to see what freedom really is. Not a grand escape, not a mystical peak experience, but this: drinking a cup of tea with both hands, listening to a friend without needing to reply, crying without apology, laughing without armor, sitting in silence without needing it to be anything else. You become rooted in reality, but no longer limited by it. And here, in this beautiful, ordinary truth, you meet the world again. But this time, with new eyes, clear eyes. Eyes that don't look for answers in every shadow, but find wonder in what is. You've walked with me through the quiet landscapes of the inner world, from noise to stillness, from holding on to letting go, from seeking to simply being. And now, it's time to bring this journey to a gentle close by asking one final question. When the universe fades, when every story falls away, what is left, what remains, is not a thing. It's not a title, a belief, or a destination. What remains is presence, still, open, and quietly alive. It's the you that doesn't need to prove anything. The you that sees without judgment. The you that breathes and simply belongs. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you were looking for all along. Not more answers, but fewer walls. Not a different world, but a new way of seeing this one. So the invitation is simple. You don't need to chase stillness. Just stop running from it. You don't need to become someone. Just remember who you already are. If this touched something in you, something soft, something real, share this video with someone you care about. Let it be a gentle reminder that the way home is always open. And if you're ready for more moments like this, subscribe, stay close, and walk with me again. Not to escape life, but to return to it fully and freely. I'll see you in the stillness.